try to do.
Sounds good. Hey there, and welcome back to the Metalheads Manifesto. This is episode number 11. We're into the double digits, man. How crazy is that? It feels like time has gone
Yeah.
so quickly. We're jumping into a topic of Kai's creation. It is reactors overreacting. As you probably know, I'm
Yeah.
a reactor to music and a few other things. I do lyrical breakdowns, I enjoy music, I stream to people who watch me, and all that kind of craziness. So I do know the scene, I do know a bunch of creators behind the scenes, and I have spoken to quite a few. So I can talk about parts of the world you may not know about it, but still, without further ado, I'm Makai, that is Kai, and yeah, I'll let him lead it.
All right. Now, the reason I wanted to do this and was so insistent on me and you doing this particular topic is because I got drawn over to your community based on the fact that you do not do your reactions in a lot of ways to the same way that I've seen other people do them with certain groups. Like if you don't hop on certain bandwagoning things and you tell overall the truth as opposed to what the groups want to hear from you or from anyone else that's doing their thing about reacting to their content. So I wanted to turn this into once again a little bit more of a personalized episode to let people get more into that side of your life
Mm-hmm.
if you don't care,
Nope, that's fine.
and kind of talk about why it is that you've decided to kind of go against the grain, about uh, just getting on the bandwagon, if you will, and say why that's not something that you're into or anything like that. If you don't care to enlighten us on that a little bit.
For like, in terms of the band, I can say, like, well, you mean stuff like, say, if you do a Nightwish reaction and you don't like it and you know you're going to get hatred for it, like, you mean like doing that, where you're kind of pandering to the crowd in a way, in like a way.
Yeah, when you're get telling the people what the people want to hear as opposed to what your true opinion of the content may be, regardless of what that is. Like let's say a group me and the group that drew me to you specifically being the Sin Lacrosse stuff.
Yeah.
The songs that you didn't like from them, and which I agree with the assessment that you gave on those particular ones, and then I go and watch the official content of them or whatever, and then you have this whole list of people that are just all but worshiping what it is and not looking at what like you said with lyrical breakdowns or whatever. It's just a new thing from them, and they have to put it up on this high little pedestal even if it doesn't need to be there. I'm not trying to talk down on them specifically now, don't get me wrong.
No, I
It's
mean,
just
like,
that
speaking of Synchros, they've recently lost all of their instruments and their practice room due to flooding in Spain, so our best wishes out to them. But yeah,
yeah, that's unfortunate. That is
yeah.
very unfortunate.
But still, in terms of what you're saying, in terms of the Synchros stuff or any band in general about this, I don't know why, but people just like to fanboy, fangirl, whatever you want to call it, onto a band. The most common ones, like Nightwish, Epica, those types of bands, right, where they have a large fan base, even like Baby Metal and Bandmade, and there's a whole bunch of bands that have massive fan bases where if you disagree, then the crowd will come for you because that's just how it goes. They think that the bands can do no wrong, no matter what the bands put out, no matter what band it is. They'll always have people in the fan base that think, like, if you put out an honest opinion, that it's not your right to do that. It's like you're wrong, or even if you are wrong, like just having it out there is like a normal thing to do, right? The fact that you can look through a lot of reaction videos and see the same opinion all the way around, but then you listen to the song and the song is absolutely dog shit. And you listen to it and you think, how do people like this? Just look at the new Nightwish. The new Nightwish has no passion in it. It is absolutely passionless. And it's like, there's nothing about it that is even enjoyable. I only got like halfway, I think it was, in that song before I had to turn it off. And I was in a reaction doing that. And I was just like, I can't do it. It's just, it doesn't work for me.
I swear to God, I'm going to go off topic for just a second here, but that goddamn moth has become a regular recurring character on this goddamn show.
Ever since the first time we've had a webcam. Yeah.
Fucking moth won't
Mm-hmm.
fucking go away. It should. I don't know where the fuck I guess it's this ring light that it's coming after. I guess
Yeah.
I don't know,
I'm going to call you
but
Moth Kai from now on.
That's fine because I have them off.
Oh yeah,
But
reminded me.
just
Seeing as off topic, you're fucking naked. You haven't got a beard. Like you're literally naked. Like you've got a naked face.
how dare you, sir? But yeah, that's because of Halloween. I'm not one to face paint with myself with facial hair because I don't have good paint. My paint sucks.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
But anyway, yes, but like you're saying, people can give them the same overall reactions, and then wondering how they can like stuff of that nature. One comes to mind for me specifically would be Kim Dracula. I understand what the man tries to do, what he's wanting to try to do with his music, but I ain't everything I've seen him put out, people are saying it's the next so and so of rock or metal. They just insert random name here. Uh, as far as what he would be and lifting him up on a high pedestal, and
Yeah.
I can't follow a lot of it because, I mean, I gave you one song of that a while back to listen to, and
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to you can't take in what he's trying to do because he changes shit so much.
Yeah, it's very hard to listen to. I will say that. But I think it's just like I think it's almost to do with it's like when you first getting into metal, and so you start with say Linkin Park or Evanescence, but you don't know Epica exists, or you don't know Within Temptation exists, or you don't know or as an example, you get into Arch Enemy, but you don't realize bands like Halma exist, or like you don't know the other side of the spectrum. Of like like say you come in with the entry level band, so a lot of people got into metal as an example through Slipknot and Korn and Mudvayne and those types of bands, right? But
Mm,
then like they don't hear like the heaviest like parts of the scene because most people who get into metal through new metal will mostly think new metal is the heaviest thing that exists until obviously they're proven wrong about that. Till they find their Cannibal Corpses and they find their Archspires and they find their deathcore and even the metalcore is heavier than the new metal. But you know what I mean? Like I think it's more. I don't want to say ignorance, but it could partially be due to ignorance on the part of just people not knowing bands which are better in some way, shape, form. They find one band and they stick with it. It's not like, me, I'm a reactor, so I listen to a broad range and spectrum of music. So I do everything
yeah,
from J-pop to visual K to deathcore to grindcore to like back down to symphonic and power metal, and even some things that are off topic, even like a more like just general pop and electronic stuff, and I don't know. There's like a broad spectrum, but most people don't do that. Most people, like I think me and you are both guilty of this. That we both like basically stuck to a certain like few bands for like a very long time. And
yeah,
it's
I can agree with that.
yeah. So I think that's what people do. I think like it's a very hard trend to break out of. It's not a lot of people who listen to 1,000 different bands, or who try to find new bands every single day, or you know what I mean.
Yeah, I can agree that my biggest trapping with that, my first few artists that was introducing me to metal would have been people like Ozzy and Marilyn Manson, Rob Zombie, even though Marilyn Manson's more alternative rock when he's somewhat, if you
He
wanna.
he he still is a gatekeeper though. Like
Mhm,
he's a way to get into it at the very least. It's a way to get into
yeah,
like the scene in as a whole. I think.
which by me going through them, I kinda didn't get brought in, like you were saying, through the new metal scene because I had them as my launching pad into things, but that's probably why I've stayed more into, like, with Ozzy specifically, why I've stayed more into the older I guess you could say old school metal, classic metal or heavy metal as they like to just deem it,
Yep.
and not branched out into the, other various things until Demi Borgir came around to me, which that was
Yeah. I mean, like for
starting me
me,
in a
I
different
was I
way.
was like the same. I was stuck in my like a lot of technical death metal stuff that I listened to for a very long time until I started. Like I saw reactions to like I didn't even see reactions to metal at first. I was watching reactions to rap music. I wasn't even watching reactions to metal because I'm into quite a few rappers who are very good, and like some of the reactors who were doing lyrical breakdowns, and they were doing other things like that, and it got me really interested in reacting. So I went to do that. Because I started my channel as a rap reaction channel originally. It wasn't even meant to be a metal channel.
Mm,
But I had a comment on it
interesting.
saying you should probably do metal just because of like the things I was doing and because I was an obvious metalhead, right? So
Mhm. It's kinda funny that you make that, comparison there because I'd als as you can recall, I'm just gonna bring it back up, I'd sent you one of League of Legends, videos that you've seen way back when just to remind you of it being the mortal reminder from Pentakill,
mhm.
and, out of all the reactions to that particular song, there was one rapper that broke the lyrics down of that song,
Yeah,
and he was the only motherfucker that knew who every character in that video was.
that's interesting. That
It's kinda funny.
because that's what rappers
I
do,
mean
man. They break down bars. Bars are the whole thing with rap, man. That's the whole point, man. They
mhm,
want flows and they want lyrical beats and they want double, triple entendres and they really want to analyze what they're saying. Which is why, if you are looking to do if you are looking for the best lyrical things, rappers are some of the best people to watch, man, because they will break everything down to a degree that most people don't. Most of the metal reactors are lazy motherfuckers, man.
uh,
I think Kai did. I think Kai did.
I didn't die.
For a second though, anyway. You you
What
you,
did the,
you froze for like about a minute, so
yeah, it was I was noticing it was I was just hoping it was on my end and it wasn't on yours,
no, it was
but I
on your
guess it
end.
wasn't.
It wasn't mine. I don't think. I don't know. It's hard to say.
It's alright, I can be dead if no one cares about me anyway. Um, I'm just a voice from behind the curtain again. I just don't have my curtain. Put my curtain back up. You got my curtain still. Um, still, like, it's just funny that those people that like those other IPs didn't know who any of those characters were, like I was saying, man, it's I know that that doesn't matter because a lot of them weren't in, Arcane as a show, I don't believe. I've never seen Arcane, I wouldn't know for sure,
Mhm.
but the only thing I knew that caused people to even start going back and looking at that type of stuff again was the fact that there was the opening scene of a dude that had a pentakill, tattoo on him in the show, and that's what made a lot of people go back and listen to that stuff again.
That's cool. Well, I mean, you've got to remember this other side of the scene as well. So, the reacting itself isn't profitable. in terms of just listening to music or reacting to stuff you see on YouTube. Like most things I react to are copyrighted, right? So
Oh,
like
yeah.
so I cannot monetize them whatsoever unless I get very lucky with certain bands that I know don't claim your content, which is like few and far between. So what is the only other way that you can monetize your content? That is to get as many eyes looking on your shit as you can, and to get them to give you money. That is the
Yeah.
only way that you can monetize it. So you either Patreon it, or you do YouTube live streams, or you build your audience to that degree. And how do you alienate an audience? You have a bad opinion. The moment you have a bad opinion, you split that crowd, you split the audience in order, and that way you split your money flow, which is something you probably don't want to do if you're looking to do
Mhm.
reactions as a full-time career. So I think that's
Yeah.
also that reason. Like that's why if you look at the reaction scene and you see, I know you've seen this. Have you seen these reactors who visibly hate something, and they still, for some unknown reason to me, say they like it? Well, not unknown reason, but I know why. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, there's, one I don't know her name right off the top of my head, but there's one, female reactor that reacted to once again, I'm gonna go back to Kim Dracula to one of his songs, and you could see it on her face that she did not like what she was hearing until he hit certain things that she could latch on to, and then she used that to power through the rest of it. I mean, it just seemed that way to me
Yeah.
looking at it, but, um, so yeah, I can see, where a lot of that would be a problem if you do alienate certain portions of the audience away from you.
Hmm.
Because that is one thing that I will admit that I've seen almost all of them do. They all talk about their Patreon accounts when it comes to reactors. Because like you said, it's not something that they can actually make money off of by just putting it on YouTube as a whole. thing, they have to direct you off to somewhere else in order to get their money.
Yep.
So,
I mean, even me, even I do Patreon. Even I have I used to have a full Patreon. You know, we could do songs, you could do albums, you could do everything. Like, I recently got rid of the song portion just because it was so much work. No, because when you give people requests and everything like that,
yeah.
it eats into your day. You don't get to do as many songs as you want to upload, and it's very annoying. But it is a good way to make money. So, like, if you do it in a way that you don't give every single person a request, you do it in a voting system or something. I don't know. I don't know how the big reactors do it, as I don't really join people's patrons. It seems a bit cringy to me. I have done with like people who I like. So like when I used to talk to PCB Empire, who is another reactor, we both supported each other at that time. We both supported each other's patrons and what we were doing, and like it's a much bigger channel than me. But I don't know. Like it was just you know, it was a way to support him because I knew him. Like, you know, we were like talking behind the scenes and we were friends and, you know, that type of shit.
Mhm.
It wasn't because I wanted to support in that way. It was just a mutual benefit thing in that way. Like, I don't know. But in terms of everything else, man, like, it's all money when it comes down to it. Once you get over the 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 threshold of subscribers, you have to monetize it some way. So some people get advertisers or sponsors if they can. MTN Reacts recently got a sponsor of headphones for his channel, which is a sick deal that he just did.
Yeah.
So you just try to make benefits whichever way that you do it. But that also leads into the way that the scene is. It's why, as you was talking about at the beginning, why do the bigger bands get no hate, or why do the bands say like, I don't, I don't want this. This is gonna sound weird, like the way that I say it, I guess. But have you noticed how it's always the ones with like really pretty female singers that get the most love?
It's always the female singers that get the most love or the dudes that can look like women that get the most love.
Yeah, man. All the visual kei bands, of course.
I mean, even Kim Dracula has stuff where he can look female, and that's helpful to him, and yeah, but that just shows you the audience, okay? It's mostly us, it's guys, and of course, we're gonna
It's horny ass
go
motherfuckers. That's what it is. I know.
it's we're gonna go, follow the popular girl, especially if the popular girl has an extreme hair color or, some other defining quality to them that we like in some way.
Yep.
I used to make jokes about to people about, like, when you listen to people like OTEP or, Arch Enemy or, I guess even Sin Cross, could you imagine them people being your mother and yelling at you?
That would be amazing. That'd be so cool. Just to have like Angela Gosso or somebody just like you'd be going the fuck
Yeah,
to bed.
go in.
That's what you'd be doing.
You would not disobey very often, I
No.
don't think.
But I guess it's the same to if you had a dad who was a deathcore vocalist, you'd be like, nah, there's no way I'm ignoring this dude. Not for
Dude,
shit.
you'd hate Halloween. You
Oh yeah.
would absolutely hate Halloween.
Mm-hmm. That's true. But yeah, I don't know. So
But but yeah. So, but even I mean, the overreacting concept though, I mean, I guess I can buy you into your, explanation to where, people might have to do that for a monetary purpose,
yeah.
even if they choose that think that it's not necessary, but you specifically have elected to go against that particular, avenue, and
Mm-hmm.
because I believe that you would want to probably say that your integrity on the subject matter is more important than the monetary gain that it could gain you. I'm not sure if that's accurate, but it's the way it would seem.
Yep. I mean, like, if I was ever to make it big, I'd want it to be because I am who I am. I'd rather be fucking hated like Asmongold than to be loved for giving for like talking bullshit. I'd prefer to be completely honest than to like to be fair, that's what made my channel though, believe it or not. When I started doing breakdowns to lyrics and I started being not being, but my integrity came out a lot more because I would despise certain bands who or I would be honest about certain bands and that helped grow my channel in a weird way. Like, that honesty,
Yeah.
that integrity shot me from about 500 subs up to 1,000 subs in a matter of months, man. So,
Yeah, I mean, some people do appreciate honesty. especially if they sit and listen to what you have to say based on that honesty instead of just hearing you say something ain't good to you because it ain't a difference than you saying it ain't good to you because you don't like it. If you give your a different reason for why it's that way and people actually listen to it and get what you're getting at or where you're coming from, some people appreciate that, but it's
Mhm.
becoming a thing I've noticed. It's a dying trend, it seems like, in society nowadays that people are starting to, like, "It's my way or no way" kinda bullshit,
Well,
you
like
know?
I have the best example for you. So you know the Linkin Park video that I put out that got a lot of hatred. I had a comment on
Yeah,
the
I was gonna
video,
try to avoid.
and it said to me, "You should probably delete this video." And I was like, "Why? There's no reason for me to delete the video." It's like they think the more they interact with my channel, that it's going to make me want to delete the video. I'm like, no, that's the opposite effect. The way you'd make me want
I
to
saw
not do the video is to not interact with it. It makes more sense to do it that way. Right? But
yeah, I mean, I saw that, particular comment on there, actually,
yeah,
so I know exactly which one you're talking about.
yeah,
Can't remember dude's name, though, but
no me either, but it's
that's
okay.
irrelevant.
Yep,
That's irrelevant, but
it's an anonymous person on the internet. They don't matter. It doesn't
yeah,
actually matter at all. The only
mhm.
people, honestly, who matter are the ones who interact properly, who are on my live streams, who comment on all the videos, who are actively a part of my community. Those are the people that I love and I cherish in my community. The nameless faces who come only when I do Nightwish or Epica or Linkin Park or whatever bullshit band that you're a stupid fan of. Like it doesn't matter to me. So
Yeah, I mean, and I might not have much of a stake in it personally myself, but I just don't see the point in, keyboard warrior stuff that people wanna do. I mean, we have a platform that people, if they really wanna tell you what they think, I'm sure you'd be more than welcome to chew them out in live in person on a
oh yeah.
chat about their
I mean, like everyone's welcome. I mean, like even if I'm on a stream or anything, if you do disagree with what I say, like jump on the stream, be like, "Can I talk to you about this topic?" I'm like, "Sure." You can add me in
mhm.
Discord. I have a Discord link on my Twitch channel if you want to just jump in there, and we'll make a thing out of it.
And fuck, I'd have more respect for half the people personally myself if they were willing to just put a voice to their damn keyboard and
You hear me say?
because that doesn't mean we'd agree with them, or you would or whatever, or however you wanna look at the
No,
context of
no,
what I'm
but it
saying,
means they have
but
more. But it means they have as much integrity as I do to believe what they say and to defend what they say, which is
yeah.
what people don't have anymore. It's what's missing in society. Not just in terms of like YouTube or a scene or, like I said, it's a dying thing. It's everything is becoming woke. Everything is becoming so on the left. There's no center anymore. The center now looks like what the far right used to look like. If that makes sense.
And that's the sad part, that makes you wonder what the actual far right really looks like if the center looks like the old far right now.
Yeah.
Um, but, I mean, this overreacting concept, it extends further, obviously, than just reacting to videos. I mean, the people that do a lot of the horror Let's Plays, I mean, some of that's the most egregious overreacting that I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it works because people laugh at it, obviously,
Yeah.
but
I mean, it's made Markiplier multi millionaire. So
yeah. Yes, it has. And you knew exactly who I was talking about.
I
Um,
mean, I watched Markiplier since he had like 10,000 subs, man. Like I've supported that dude for a very long time, but he does overreact to like everything. The same with Jacksepticeye and all the big like horror YouTubers, man. So
Now I will say the funniest thing that I would think that was a legitimate overreaction that I'd ever seen Mark do was when he was playing Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy.
I don't think I've seen
He
that one,
got
but
so he got so mad at that game that he got up and picked his desk chair up and threw it across the room.
damn, he could have legitimately got that pissed off though. To be fair, some of the games are actually annoying. So
No, that's what I'm saying. That's
yeah,
the only that is still an overreaction in
yeah,
its truest form,
oh yeah,
but I think that one was legitimate and not staged
no.
like some of the other shit.
No, it's also, have you seen those reactors who also like they'll listen to a song and they'll punch things or they'll hit things and it makes no sense to me. I don't get it.
Mhm.
Speaking of people
Yeah,
throwing chairs and shit, like I've seen that as well. It's very weird, in my opinion.
yeah, yeah, it's a it but yeah, man, I mean, it's just painful to me as someone that's not involved in that scene and just looking at stuff and just wanting to see people give. somewhere, a different opinion. I mean, like, we've already established throughout the course of this already that the reason for that is because they just don't want to alienate their own audience, or at least what audience it could be.
Yep. Yep.
But but maybe it's because I'm not really a content creator as much as what anyone else that obviously I'm not as much as they would be. But maybe it's because of that I just don't see what it would be why it's worth it to but like lie to yourself like that, really, because people lie to you enough as it is. Why you had to chime in on that and contribute to lying to yourself as
Plus,
well.
it also makes the scene a very horrible place to be. Like for me, like personally, I joined the scene as a fan, if that makes sense. Like I started doing it because I enjoyed other content that people did. And now, if I want to go search for like a band that I just reacted to, I do it all the time. And like, it's like when the new Disembodied Tyrant released, like every reaction almost was the same. Almost every single one was almost the same. Looking at it, like like no matter where I went, it would be basically similar reactions all the way across. The same with anything, like even like the new, like even like I don't even know, man. Almost any band that is somewhat popular will have reactors who almost have the same content all the way across the board. Until you get to me and some other niche creators, but yeah, don't know. Because like I think the
But
most
I mean,
important thing is like to have the scene. So, to see, I want diversity, man. That's the one thing that I want for this scene. I want it to be diverse. I want people to be honest. I want legit fucking reactors. I want people who will listen to something, and even if that band is in the room with them, to tell them it's shit. You know what I mean? Like like no matter
mhm.
how good, bad, whatever. Like leading back to Cinecross, where we started. Like ever since I started making negative reactions about Cinecross, like they've stopped talking to me as people, which shows me everything that I need to see about that band in particular, regardless of what they're going through right now. Like it showed me everything that I need to know about how that band operates and acts, and you know what I mean. It made me just go like, you know what, like this was for a purpose or a concept. It wasn't for friendship or something else. This was all business minded on their part, and it's obvious that it is, but like you don't realize it until they see that you are actually an honest person, and you do put out legit reactions, and it isn't fangirlism. And FYI, I've spoken to Patricia in real life, and regardless of what you may think, she's made a choice to never be with anybody because she's focusing on her career. So no matter what you think you can do, you really don't have a chance with any of these people. They're all in it for money. They're all in it to make profits and to advance their careers and their bands, and you know what I mean. So
Well, I can say that there is at least one exception. Um, there's a group out there called Scarlet, and the main singer that is the name, it's like name of character and name of band is the same thing. Has went on an interview saying that if people want to pursue that kind of a thing with that particular person, then the best thing to do is to talk to her, and you might get lucky with it. It just depends, but that's a whole different thing. I just thought I'd say
oh yeah, no,
throw that in.
yeah, no.
But yeah, as far as
To
what
be
you're
fair, there's
saying with
bands that have literally have a thing where they throw a thing into the stage, and whoever gets it, they get to sleep with the whole band. So that shit happens all the time. So
well, I mean, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but there's a band called Jenna Torturers.
hmm I don't know them, but
I don't know if
sure.
you're, but Marilyn Manson used to open for her
hmm
way back when, and you will rarely, if ever, find a live show from that woman because she's a in real life dominatrix type deal,
Yeah.
and she lets that bleed into her stage performances.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah. So they're too X-rated to be shown, basically.
Yeah. Well, not only that, she just refuses to allow people to film her shows, because she doesn't wanna create what I think she described it as a uncomfortable environment for the people that would attend those shows.
Oh yeah, no, I totally get that. Because I mean, like, depending on what kind of show she's putting on, it may give people who go to the shows a bad rap, so or make them seem a way that they aren't, if that makes sense. So I
Mhm.
do, so I do get that.
But, yeah, but like you were saying with people not having any chance with, so you pronounce her name different than I would.
That's
I would pronounce it as Patricia.
she's Spanish. That's how you pronounce her name.
Mhm.
she isn't.
I know. I'm
She
just saying.
isn't. I know, but she isn't American or English, and that's how she pronounces her name as well. So
But I know, I'm just saying my brain immediately defaults to that,
Yeah, yeah, I know.
it's because that's the way I'm used to
I know. Me too.
doing
But
so I'm not meaning
yeah,
any ultimately, my point is I'm not meaning any disrespect by mispronunciating the name. But, yeah, I mean, people like that, people have no chance with them.
of course not.
Um,
It doesn't matter whether
but
it's
they
her
still
or Simone or Floor or it doesn't matter. Sorry, go on. Don't
yeah,
mean to
no,
interrupt.
yeah, 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 I'm just basically saying what you're saying right there.
Hmm.
I would have probably picked a few different names, but the point remains the same that, that's their sometimes that's their whole gimmick is to get you to look at them.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just be real, I mean, having long green hair, it's a really good thing to get your attention,
Hmm. That's true.
and,
Just like Simone being naked on half of the Epica covers helps with that as well. You know, of the album covers. So
mhm, that helps, I mean, you might not care for her too much, but Alyssa having blue hair helps her a lot
yeah,
because it's an immediate attention grabber.
it sure was shutting out her voice. So I don't like Alyssa
No,
that much. So
but somehow she managed to get Doyle's attention for what that's worth, so, I mean, I don't know if you're familiar with him at all, but that's an odd combination there because of how much older Doyle is than Alyssa,
makes
but
sense. To be fair, though,
but
like we said, man, like Alyssa is like an attractive woman, right? So obviously, so that gets your attention. Obviously, the blue hair gets your attention. Like it's just standing out as being different. It's that kind of a way, right? Like I said, man,
mhm,
in multiple podcasts from now, like the whole scene is so sexualized. It's charged with it. It's really bad to like to look at. Even in the visual K setting, man, the like a lot of the visual K artists who try to look female, even they over
mhm.
sexualize a lot of stuff as well. So
Yeah, because I don't remember what the guy's name was that you sent me a picture of, but when you sent it to me, I immediately, related it back to being a, cosplay of Lightning from Final Fantasy 13.
oh yeah,
I forgot what you said the dude's name was,
Senna from Jaluka, yeah, the main guitarist
but
of Jaluka. If you don't know who that is, so
I personally wouldn't, but hopefully somebody out there does. But yeah, I mean, it's a very sexualized field, but let me ask you, in all honesty, is it a problem that it is, though, to you? Because everything is in the end sexualized in some capacity.
I
It's
mean,
just
personally, I don't give a shit in terms of like you do what you do. Like, if you need to make your money, you need to make your band more known. Do what you gotta do, right? Like, you need to get seen somehow. It's a very hard
mhm,
world to be in. It's a very big music scene. Like no
yeah,
matter where you are, what country you're in, like it's a globalized audience now. So you do have more reach, but it's still harder to reach overall. So
yeah. Because personally, I mean, I see, take the same stance for viewing music as I would for, a lot of the other stuff that I do, when it be like wrestling or writing or whatever the case may be, to where, um, I don't think any art form really needs any kind of true censorship to it because it just kinda dilutes it down to being mainstream at that point.
that's true,
But
but it depends on how you view that. Because there's artistic, and then there's like abusing people for sexualization. If that makes sense.
oh, well, yeah, yeah. I mean, that there's a fine line there too. I mean, it's not something that's, like, there's not a big divide on that. It's
No.
literally like a real small fine line between which one's
Because
which on that, and
if you take this into the mainstream things, a lot of the main female artists, not a lot of them, most of their live shows are them twerking half nakedly, which to me feels more like they're
yeah.
going to something which is more softcore porn than it is a music show. So
Yeah, I can see where you'd be coming from with that.
yeah,
But it sells.
of course it does. It's softcore porn.
To quote a
Porn always sells.
to to
Porn is the
to to
biggest business we have, man. Anyway, sorry.
to quote, Eric Bischoff, which is a, wrestling manager, "Sex sells."
Of course it does. Sex has always sold. It's the oldest profession for a reason.
Yeah, it is, which is a very weird thing. It's the oldest profession that's actually illegal.
Yep, that's the one.
And unless It's illegal unless you have a camera crew and a director, and then it's legal.
Yep, that's all. That's what you have to do. So like, it doesn't matter. Like, you know, like you could be selling it as long as you have a camera in that room somewhere filming everything you are doing. Then you are completely fine. It's 100% legal. As long as you put that on the internet. I don't know which comedian said this. I know a comedian did say it. That as long as you
But
put
that's
this shit
just
on the
fucked
net,
up.
eventually, then it'll be fine.
That's just fucked up as all hell if you think about it, though, is it's legal if other people can see it.
Yep,
But if it's private to where no one would see it, it's illegal.
I know it. You gotta love how backwards the world
The
is.
fucking the fucking kind of world that we live in.
The backwards fucked up kind. That's the kind of world we
But
live in.
if you go up to someone's window and look in their window, that's illegal.
That's a peeping Tom. There's a whole fucking nursery rhyme or children's rhyme about that shit.
But you see what I'm saying, though? You go up and you look at someone's window, that shit's illegal.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look it up online, it's fine.
Yep. It's great.
What's the difference here? Just people do
I have no
loopholes, man.
loopholes, man. That's it. Just loopholes. It's the do as I say, not as I do type situation.
They really take that being a fly on the wall comment way too seriously, I guess, nowadays.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do. I mean, that is literally like a whole field, I would imagine, like, you know, being like a point of view shot where you are like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's 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 bizarre as fuck, man. I mean, our I know me and you have our own opinions about it, but I don't even think our world's going to hell. I think we've already been down to hell, and we're trying to figure out how deep we can get into it.
I mean, if you think about it, the way that the world is right now, it's fucked up to beyond measure, man. Just look at everything that we do. Like, everything is a form of control at this point, man, from everything that happens in terms of the world. In terms of how governments
Ev-
run, in terms of money and banks, and everything is that way, England.
Well, it ain't much different over here either. I mean, you get one side over here. I mean, I know you don't have to deal with this over there. One side over here wants to tell you you can purchase weapons and have them. I'm gonna say weapons just to be safe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then the other side says that we don't need you to do. We do not want to do that type of thing. And
Well, I mean,
that's always.
you guys are the only country that have like yearly school shooting statistics. So, I mean, take with that what you will. So,
Well, I'm saying I agree with the fact of I don't have any weapons in this house except for knives.
no, but that's not knives are normal. You need to have knives to like cook food and do shit with, man. But
I
guns
mean,
are
I actually have,
Mm. Yeah, but I mean,
but
guns
not.
are for me like because obviously I've never been to America. I'm not American. Like, it's not a normalized thing. Like, there's no Second Amendment here. You know, like there's no you have a right to
Yeah.
own whatever. Like, it's not a thing we have. So to me, having a gun is a foreign concept. If I saw a police officer with a gun on his waist regularly, I'd be freaked out. I would literally be like, mate, I don't trust this guy. This dude is just a dude who I probably went to school with, and he's got a fucking gun on his waist for no reason.
Hmm.
But still,
Which is real bad over here when you become part of the, let's just say, minority people that are over here.
yeah,
And it's a sad, sad, fucked up situation that gets dealt with that a lot of times, and it
yeah, it's a
really
fucked up
we
situation. It should never
we
happen,
we
especially in today's day and age as well.
we should really have a way of being better as a society about that, but
I
that's
agree.
probably never going to be a thing
I would hope so. I would
because
hope eventually, with a couple of generations going forward, everyone should be more aware of, you know, tolerances and stuff like that, especially with the way that the left is right now, the way that the woke culture is going. Well, depending on which way it goes, obviously. Like if woke culture stays the way it is, hopefully, then in a few generations' time, people will be a lot more lenient towards certain things. So it won't be as prejudiced or bigoted as it is now. So
one could hope, but we're going to be dead long. Obviously, you said generations.
mhm.
I just wish I could actually see it start.
Yeah, I know.
To be fair,
Yeah,
but I probably we neither one of us probably will.
no,
No one listening to this will probably be around
no.
to see it start.
No, I
That's the
wish.
sad thing.
Like, I really wish, because I mean, like over here, we have one of the biggest multicultural places. Like, so I live in like the second biggest city over here. So,
Mhm.
So, like, we have complete multicultural stuff and it works to some degree. Yes, there's problems. Yes, there's some crime. There's drugs. There's knives. But that's what happens in any society. Like, it's just how you
Mhm.
handle the few that try to break the laws. That is how you do it. But in this case, it's not the people, it's the police that are breaking the laws for the most part. You know, the police are doing searching for no reason, or they're shooting without cause, or, you know. Obviously, sometimes they have it.
Yeah, that
They have it the exact right to shoot because obviously they're being dangerous or they're attacking them, or you know what I mean. But in a lot of
mhm.
cases, it is unprovoked, it is unprofessional, it shouldn't be happening. So
Yeah, and a lot of that's people that I mean, the sad part about it is a lot of that's upbringing issues. I mean, I've heard a lot of stories about, the bullied child that grows up to be the police officer, and now they have the power, and then they just take that power and do to people what's been done to them their entire lives and just take it
yeah,
up to so many, extra levels that are unnecessary.
I mean, you shouldn't be allowed to be a police officer if you have that mentality. You should be able, like, the first instance or inkling of that happening, you should be fired or reprimanded or forced to take like a psychiatric evaluation, or like make sure that your mental state is where it's meant to be. So
Yeah, that's the way it should be, but evidently it ain't that way.
I know. Not even
I will
here.
say
I
that
mean, like, it's the same here too. Like, not to your degree, but there is known cases of police abusing their power. It happens all the time.
yeah, I mean, I will say that, at least over here, that is slowly getting better because civilians fucking moth civilians are getting, smarter about having cameras on them all the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have a smartphone in our pocket for a reason, right? Like, I've seen
Well, I'm just
videos. I've seen videos of the police try to tell people to stop filming, and like, no, this is my right to film. I don't know what you're on about. This is my right to
yeah,
keep myself safe. Because if you do shoot me and I'm recording this, then obviously I have proof that you overstepped your bounds. So
yeah, which it's sad that we have to have literal personal surveillance now just to make sure that we are treated like people nowadays.
yeah, but that's how. But to be fair, if it wasn't for that, it would go backwards. Because when we didn't have personal recording devices, it was a much worse place to be.
Oh, yeah, yeah, it definitely was. I mean, it's gonna get to the point to where people are gonna probably have a goddamn drone that follows them around and records everything they do
Yeah,
all the time, and that's just for their own safety.
that's true. Give me 1 second.
Uh,
I need to close the door because I can't open it. 2 seconds. Anyways,
well well, ladies and gentlemen, we have had the first introduction of the cats of Makai into the show, I
yep,
believe.
yep. My cat was here the whole time. If you didn't
So,
notice.
no, but it's it is good of you, though, I will say. I mean, the rescue animal things, though, that's a good thing to do. I mean, animals don't need that kind of bullshit, man, as
No.
far as, whatever put them in the situation and need to be rescued in the first
No, I
place.
don't know what the situation was specifically, but they were so scared of people that it took them a year to even want to be stroked or have attention. They would always hide for like the first year. You'd put food down and it would just disappear because you'd never see them. They would only be here um once nobody was around, basically, or we were asleep. Or
Well, I will say that it's good that you've been able to get them to a position to where they can, stand to be around somebody.
Mhm.
If they can stand to be around you, they can't be that bad.
It's funny. Yeah, man. But like, I'm the only person that can pick them up as an example. Nobody else can pick them up. That will literally eat you if like anybody else would try. Basically.
So devil cats,
Yeah,
basically.
exactly. Apart
So
from
that
to me,
makes sense why they get along. That makes sense why they can get along with you then.
exactly. Like I raised the perfect cats, man. They just like attack on sight at this point.
I've been around cats like that. Those are some mean motherfuckers sometimes, man.
And
I mean, I go ahead.
to me, they're cuddly. To me, they're cuddly and cute. But to you or to anybody else, they'll probably like rip you half to death. But still, don't know, man.
I almost think I'd rather fight with a damn dog, one of the dogs that I have now, than deal with a fucking cat
Oh
as
yeah,
far as
it
being
fucking
attacked by
hurts.
it because
It fucking hurts from personal experience. Yeah, as you were saying, you was talking about drone surveillance or something to that degree.
Yeah, I just think it's gonna come to a point to where at some point we're gonna have a goddamn drone that follows us around all the time just to make sure that we're constantly surveyed about what's going on around us to where we have instant proof of anything we ever need to have.
Yeah,
Um,
I imagine it will all be live streamed to cloud services eventually. Is what it might be. Because if like Meta has its way, it's all going to be VR based eventually. So no, Meta is Facebook.
yeah,
If people don't know anyway. Mm-mm.
that or, this is where we get into sci-fi stuff where we're just gonna have to have it where people have the option to replace an eye with a fucking optic camera that can
Going into
fucking,
Cyberpunk, man. Cyberpunk is such a good game. So I just
I never played it.
it's
I've
really
never
good.
played it.
It's one of my favorite games. It's actually really, really good. It's definitely worth getting if you've never played it.
I might look into it.
Yeah.
I've
I
heard it
should.
had bad problems with it though. Has it all
Not
that been
anymore.
remedied?
Not anymore. It's all fixed now. It's all done. I should so just add you to my Steam family just so you can get all the games, just so you can play shit.
No, I don't think you wanna do that. Then you'll see all my games.
I know, right? I get to play all your games and like play shit for free. I mean, like, anyways, getting so off topic here, but
No, this is the point. I think we just turned this thing into me talking to you about people and overreacting to us just talking about random shit that people might find entertaining, I don't know.
that's true.
Which is what we do all the time, and we just forget to hit the fucking record button, so we probably could have done this anytime other than now, at any point.
Yeah. I mean, that's generally what we're doing. We usually start talking just randomly. It's like we're playing a game or we're doing something, and we just end up in a randomest, or like, one of the most randomest conversations you can imagine. But then we end
Yeah.
it, and we're like, this could have been a podcast episode, or that could have been a podcast episode, or.
Yeah, as bad as that is.
I know it. But yeah.
But I don't know, man, it's I don't I'm lost in terms of what about the world, man.
Yeah, me too.
This is a fucking cesspool bullshit.
I mean, we spoke about this the other day, but like ever
I
since I
know, but
ever since I was a kid, like I've not even seen like I've just had it where um I've seen how the world is, I've seen how money works, and I'm just like, this doesn't make sense. This is all just bullshit. This is all just like fabricated stuff to control you. It's like it's obvious, right?
yeah, I mean, looking at what we have here, your little purple light back there, these cameras, us talking, all the stuff we got. There's no reason that we couldn't do this without having to pay a goddamn thing
That's true.
because it's here.
Hmm.
There's no reason that none of this stuff could not exist without having to have money for it. Outside of the reason that somebody clever out there might want to say is, well, we need money for regulation and
Yeah,
make sure that
they'll
they're
like say for societal bounds, they'll say that you have to do it for to keep people in line, basically, so that people don't go crazy with anything, or so that they can. I don't know. I don't even know how the keeping in line or bounds even works under that thing, because that's just saying that you don't trust people. The number one reason why people are in jail, like specifically, is because they're poor, because they are broke, because they can't afford to eat or provide for their families, or so that whole reason behind that reason of control is absolute insanity. Like that, to me to think that is insane. Because the number one reason for people being in jail is that, yes, we have murderers and other people who are deranged, but you have that regardless. You know what I mean? So,
oh yeah. And that's something that would never go away, but as far as needing money for the stuff that we use and that we have now, I mean, I would you not see it being feasible to have a system in place? I mean, when you talk about computers or whatever, that you could probably allot each individual person on the planet, since everyone almost has one anyway, give somebody a computer once every 5 years that's up to date, and that would, I mean, because we're going to buy one anyway every 5 years, give or take,
yeah.
and so I just don't see why. I mean, they're already making the thing. It just goes in what I said. They're already going to make the thing. So why can't everybody just have the one computer every 5 years or the one this ever so often and then
Mostly
just
because
put it
it's
in the same?
finite. Mostly because it's finite. Like, the amount of PC things they make. it's limited. Like you saw what happened in the lockdown, where they ran out of enough material to make the GPU processors, and it was there was a
Mhm.
massive shortage for a long time. That's the only
Yeah.
reason why. That's the only reason that it is. It's because it's regulation. But I know. I think in a way it would be good to move money away from the fundamentals of life. So, say houses, food, um, heating, water, etc. You know what I mean? The basic fundamentals
Yeah.
we need to survive. Remove it from that. Completely remove money from that. But have money for the extra things. So say like if you want to have a computer, or you want to have niceties or fine wine, or you want to have some expensive jewelry, or you know what I mean, something like that. Make it so that money's used for the luxuries that you want in your life, not the basics of your life.
Like you were saying about limitation being limited and,
Hmm.
finite is the word, I guess, that you more used. I can follow in with that and see where that could be a thing, but it doesn't seem to be a problem now. I don't know why it ain't now as
It's because
opposed to before.
it's because there isn't as many people needing them. Because businesses needed them for people to work from home, and people needed them because they needed
Oh,
to work from home, and you know what I mean. Because those
yeah, I guess that
resources
would
have to
make
go between both CPU and GPU manufacturers. So,
yeah. So, yeah, that does at least make a degree of sense for that, I suppose. I'll concede that point.
but then again,
Um,
speaking on that same point, if it was in the way where everybody got one anyway, you'd just have more places doing it, and you'd have bigger quantities being made of it. That's all you'd need to do. You just need to up production.
yeah. But when it comes to I mean, even comes to vehicles, I mean, I know you don't use a vehicle from what you've told me yourself. You're a cyclist,
Yep,
basically,
that's
for
me.
what you do for travel. But even when it comes to the vehicles for those that use them, I mean, there's several hundred vehicles just sitting on the fucking lot that no one's bought.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's true. But I mean, everything's going electric eventually. But still, before anybody does judge me, I do have Subaru, so I don't trust myself with a car. It's the only reason that I don't drive. So
You didn't have to go that far. I mean, you just be an environmentalist and say that you just don't want to just
I don't
fuck
want to
up
be
the
an
planet more than
environmentalist. Is why I made that point.
I get you. I understand. But
Yeah.
yeah, it'd be good if we could get off of using gas and stuff for
Because I mean,
fuel and diesel, but
eventually, it's literally just the networks that needs to be improved. I think I heard Elon Musk talking about it a week or two ago or something, where he said even if you could change every car to electric right now, it would take another 30, 40, like another 30 years to change the whole grid to electric. To change the whole charging situation. Instead of it being like petrol pumps, it would be electric pumps, or like places you can plug in your vehicles. Well, that will take another 30 years to implement. So no matter what we do, we're about 30 years away from changing anything. So
yeah, and that's providing we even get the ball rolling to start initiating the change in the first place.
exactly. So the moment we start doing that is the moment that we can start changing it. But it depends how finite our coal is. It depends how finite our petroleum is. How much tree we have left, or if we have more stores that we can find in the world, or if it's completely tapped out. Once it's tapped out, we're fucked, basically. So
Yeah, but I have a feeling that we'll be. I mean, granted, we've already done what one would consider irreparable damage, as it would be anyway at this point. I would think, unless you've heard someone say different as far as environmentally is concerned.
environmentally,
Uh,
it depends on who you listen to. Most mainstream scientists will say that global warming is a thing. A lot of non-mainstream scientists will be a bit more iffy with it. Some will even go as far to say, as it's a natural cycle of the world, that the things we're seeing that we're calling global warming happens naturally and it goes up and down. It just depends on who you
mm,
listen to. So there's a lot of conflicting information basically. So it's hard to know really who to believe.
mm,
Because even then, a lot of the scientists really you don't know which ones are bought off and which ones are being paid by certain people to say certain things, and it depends how far down the conspiracy rabbit hole you want to go, basically.
yeah, I try to avoid the conspiracy rabbit hole the best that I can because you know I don't know. I don't want to have to sit here and guess who to believe half the time.
Yeah, no, but that's the whole thing of everything now. We don't know who to believe. That's what makes the world scary.
Yeah, and anybody that we've had in the past that would serve any way of being reputable can be you can find something on them to where they've,
And for like you guys,
fucked up.
I think Bernie Sanders was a very good choice back when he was running. But still, he's the only one who've ever really looked at and thought, you know what, this dude could actually do shit. He could actually change stuff for the better. That's the only dude I've ever seen like in American politics recently that has been that way. But still,
I didn't have much problem with what dude was saying myself. Nowhere near the amount of problems that I seem to have right now with the current,
or what can imagine.
election.
I'm not even fucking American, and all my Twitter feed is American politics. It's really annoying.
Well, I mean, yeah, I would imagine it would be because one or both of the people in the American politics just can't keep their mouths shut for any length of time.
That's true.
One particular that we all know about, but, I don't know about the other one. I'm sure it's just as bad.
I'm pretty sure it's just as
I'm not
bad
saying
both ways. I'm sure it's all
yeah, I'm not gonna
just,
say any names.
I'm pretty sure it's all just. It seems like it's all conjecture because no matter who wins, man, there's going to be riots and people trying to negate the election and, the normal stuff that happens in America when a new person gets elected. People throw a tantrum because their person didn't win, basically.
Yeah, and that's the only this is the only time of our, year that worries me personally because I kinda have those visions, of, going out and everybody's car being on fire and people standing up on top of it with fucking baseball bats, hitting cars, breaking windows, all that type of shit because of, uh, something not going the way that they think and felt that it should have went, and they can't accept a loss, or they have
Yeah,
to word it in a way to where it's not legitimate on either side. It don't matter which one it is. We're at a point now with it to where anyone wins, that the other side's gonna say something was, skewed
basically.
about it.
Basically, like, but like, it's like with anything, man. Like the way things are going, like things just like I said earlier, things are so skewed. You don't know where the center is anymore. It's so hard to know where that center is because, like politically speaking, like not as like not going into English politics and such. I'm a centrist, right? I try to be as much in the center as I can. The same with music reactions, the same with everything that I do. Right, I'm in the center of what I do because I don't go one way or the other. I try to be objectively looking at both sides of the spectrum. So that's
Yeah.
kind of where I always fall whenever I'm looking at anything. But it's so hard nowadays. I don't even know where it is.
I try to do similar over here, but as you could imagine, it's actually also difficult over here, especially because even though we're supposed to have multiple parties besides just the 2 that you see all the time,
Yeah.
never see the other parties ever. They don't they might as well as to not exist.
I mean, at least here you do see the other parties. You do see, like I know you see the Green Party and you see the I don't even know what they're called now. They used to be UKIP. I forgot what they're called now. Whichever party that they turned into, with Nigel Farage leading it, alongside the other parties that we have. You do see them because, like, they have advertisements and you see because on all the ballots, when the elections happen. So every person is on the ballot basically. So you get like all the independents and the other ones, and so you do
Yeah.
see them more. But yeah, I know
But
what you mean. I mean, like, it must be weird to only have technically two parties in America. It must be so hard just to be like, because if both of them are bad, who do you vote for?
that's the problem. You either try to pick the lesser of 2 evils or you don't do anything.
Or what?
And
But I guess like they even say that here. Like, if you don't pick either the Labour or Conservative, then you've got a wasted vote. At the same time, that's not true because it's meant to be a system that's fair, right? So, but as we know, political systems aren't fair. No matter where you live, whether it's in the UK like me, whether it's in America like you, it is. They are both skewed towards towards being unfair. So
yeah, all for one person to stand there and act like they have control over stuff when even I mean, we are in the same position as when I from what I understand that you're in with when it comes to monarchy, when it comes to our president, to where our president's more of a figurehead, but they have no power. I mean, Congress has power over here,
yeah,
as opposed to the president, because they can outright tell the president that he just, "No, we're not doing that."
Yeah, I mean that's good though because it means when the president tries to put in 20 executive orders in a row to try to change everything, that they can kind of stop that. I guess.
Mhm. Yeah, and,
Mm-mm-mm.
I'm assuming that it's a similar thing with what goes on over there when it comes to, parliament,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it goes through Parliament basically. It goes through the normal MPs who are trying to get the bill passed. They vote on it. If it passes that vote, it goes up to a higher chain of command or something to that degree. It's
Mhm.
basically very similar to what you guys have. It It goes up to the high
The only
courts or
thing
wherever it is, I think it is. So I don't know. I don't know exactly. Don't quote me on
I I will say, though, if you really think about the systematic stuff of what we do over here, I don't know how you would expect one person to potentially be able to enact a whole lot of meaningful change in the time span of 8 years at maximum, and then they
that.
have to win to
Te-
get that other 4 years.
technically, it's 3 years because you have the 3 years to go. Then you have a year of campaigning, and then you have like another 3 years. Then you have a year of campaigning. Well, I guess that
Yeah,
last year is
but
it's an actual 4 years because you can't run after that point. But you know what I mean.
yeah, but
Because I mean,
still in all, I mean
technically, everything that happened when the orange dude got elected the first time, they undid basically the moment that he came out of office.
yeah.
So
So, I mean, I just don't see, I mean, how that you can really ha I can only imagine what it looks like on the outside, because I know
it's
what it looks like
scary.
from on the inside.
It's scary. You guys have the biggest nuclear warhead thing in the entire world, and like we're looking at two idiots who don't know what the fuck they're doing, and we're just like, well, this is either going to go very good or very badly, and we don't know what it is yet. So
Yeah. I will say that neither one of the 2 people that I could imagine winning anything right now, those are 2 people that I don't really fancy seeing with their finger anywhere near a damn button.
thankfully, it doesn't just take one finger to press the button. If it did, we'd all be screwed, man. So
Oh,
thankfully,
yeah.
there's failsafes, and there's people who have to press buttons in order for buttons to be pressed, and no, there has to be multiple people to say okay to it. Thankfully,
Yeah. It's a
but
good
no,
thing we're smart enough to have as a s just species, have systems like that, where not just one person can make these decisions.
yeah, because you could elect
Unless
one
you live in
person
certain places.
and destroy the world, unless you live in like North Korea or some degree like that, where that dude is. To the people who live in North Korea, I guess from what I've heard, he's more like a god walking on Earth than he is a human, or whatever
Oh,
bullshit
yeah.
he wants you to believe. So
Yeah. And that's just the sad part about that I mean, just seeing how some parts of the world are like that. I mean, I guess as screwed up as we are here, at least we're not in that particular situation. We might not be far from it, but we're
you,
not exactly in that one.
at least you're not in the social credit system that China has either.
Yeah.
You know, where if you say something wrong or do something wrong, your social credit goes to zero, and you can't buy food anymore, and you can't buy a house anymore, and you can't fly anymore, and you're not a person anymore, and you literally don't exist, and you fade into death, basically.
Yeah. I mean, at least I am able to granted, we're being very generous about not mentioning any particular names, but it doesn't take a genius to figure out the people we're talking about realistically. I mean, and
Exactly.
now it would be funny if you listen to the way we're just hiding names with this and people not know exactly which one we're talking about because in my opinion they're both so similar that you could probably interchange them at this point.
You probably could. I wonder if, like, if we just spoke generically about both, just like, but we didn't choose which facts we kept to which person. I wonder who people would think would be who. That would be an interesting thing to work out, actually.
Yeah, but um at least I am able to, I mean, even if I was to use names over here, I can at least give my opinions
Yeah.
fairly freely about these people as long as I'm not saying anything that would cause some black SUVs to drive up to my house or something, you know.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But
I mean, I'm an outsider. I live, like, a whole big pond away, so for me, I don't have any stake in your election, but then again, the rest of the world has a stake in your election, so.
yeah, that's the saddest part about it if you think about it.
Yeah, because if your economy crumbles, then we kind of get fucked from that too, unfortunately. Mm.
Yeah, and we've never. we've never had a really good track record when it comes to money management over here.
No.
We throw money at so many things over here that's questionable whether we really should be involved in it or not, that it's not even funny.
Yeah, the same with us, where like it's a where we've had like entire government regimes that have spent so much money, put us into so much debt for no reason whatsoever, just because they could, because they could borrow. I don't know when it happened, but we lost our status of credit, because we were so much in debt that they like docked us down a tier, basically, which has never happened until that point. It shows how bad things are getting. That's why all this talk of money, how we started this, is so royally fucked up because, like I've said, man, it's a form of control like anything else. Money is there to keep people in line, it's there to keep the poor, it's there to keep the rich richer. If you know how to manipulate the system, you can do it more so than that. It depends on stuff. Even things like credit and borrowing is all a way for rich people to get richer as well. So,
Yeah, and, or for people, I mean, I'll just say it, people like me, I can at least I can move around in that particular social structure a little bit about, you know, I don't have a lot, but I can do a lot with what I established over 18 years now
yeah, that's true. I mean, I personally
that
choose
some
not
people
to
can't.
associate myself with the credit system just because I don't agree with it. I don't even agree with money, man. I even hate having to try to make money to survive and stuff like that. It's very annoying.
Mm.
I think money is the
Yeah,
biggest scam that's ever been invented. It's always been a thing because obviously the kings needed a way to control the people under them to show that I am better than you. Basically, that's how it's always been. Like there's always a person that's better than you,
yeah,
and it leads down to the person who's on the bottom, and that's why they call them
yeah.
pyramid schemes. So,
Well, just attacking everybody and all at once there, are we?
yep, that's
Uh,
me. Leaving nobody
but
unscathed.
unfortunately but unfortunately, we're on the bottom of that pyramid, me and you are, I'm sorry to say. Um,
I'm on less than the bottom. I'm a disabled guy. I literally like could only work half as good as a normal regular person. That makes me like half as useful. So
you're still on the bottom of the pyramid.
yeah, but you're more above it than me.
Unless you wanna say you're the dirt that the
Mhm.
pyramid's sitting on. If you wanna say that,
Now I'm the what's it called? I'm the worms under the dirt. In Popo scheme. That's me.
well, at least you're still alive down there.
Yep, I'm
Um,
wriggling around on there somewhere.
you'll probably be here long after we're all gone with that being a reality too.
Ah,
But,
you never know.
um,
Mhm.
but yeah, man, God, talking about money is depressing.
I know it is, but to be fair, it has to be talked about
Depressing.
because like if we stop talking about things, then it's going to make it so that nobody talks about shit, and we're fucked if we do that. Like if nobody talks about the bad shit happening, then I
Oh,
think
yeah, I mean,
yeah, it's important.
the we could spend days talking about society and how bad it is in different aspects of itself because, I mean, I don't even know if days is probably even being generous,
Yeah,
to
because
this
because like
particular
what
topic.
because like once you go into the nitty gritty bits, we can talk about specific issues that are just because we'd go around in circles sometimes, just like trying to work out
Well,
what the fuck is happening. So
you almost have to go in circles because it all fucking leads back to something else all the time.
yeah, it leads back to the
That's the worst
one
fucking thing
grand
about it.
fucking solution, which is obviously the governments don't have power. Nobody has power. The only people who have power are people who run the economy, which are big businesses, people on the stock exchanges, etc., etc., etc. The big banks in England, the people who create the money in the banks, who press the numbers on the keyboard to make the money exist in the first place, and of course, the people really in charge. So the royal family, as an example, over here, and the Bank of England, and the big businesses like the HSBCs and the banks and the big businesses that generate a lot of income because they buy politicians. It's not even a secret over in America. Like businesses buy politicians, they literally fund their entire campaigns, and they think they don't
Oh,
ask any,
yeah.
and they think they don't ask anything in return for that shit. Of course they do. Like you don't have to be smart to understand how politics works, right? It's a very
Well,
simple
I mean,
transaction.
politics is a very, easy to understand system. It You just gotta be likable for someone to wanna buy into your bullshit, and then when they buy into your bullshit, then all you gotta do is figure out how you're not gonna pay them back.
That's the one.
That's what it is, long and short of it, and there's a few people over here right now in politics that are really good at figuring that part out.
Oh yeah, that's they hire them. They're like the people who like lead the political campaigns and who like get all the money donations and like know who to talk to and have the contacts, and it's crazy.
Mhm. It's a sad situation, I will admit, I mean,
Yeah,
because
but it just sucks because
typical.
it means none of the decisions are made by the people who need to make it. No, not by the people who need to budget anything. They're like, well, you need to make this happen, otherwise I'm not going to put any money towards your next campaign or to fund this or to fund that. And it's like it's a whole bunch of bullshit.
Yeah. It's just like one of the current people running over here right now, I'd hate to see what his campaign would look like if he, uh, made Mr. Elon Musk upset with him.
Oh man, he would be. I think it'd be fine. I mean, like the one who you're talking about is already rich enough, I think, to be okay.
He's not as good off as he was when he first started doing this stuff. He's actually taken a pretty good, from what I understand, hit financially. But that doesn't mean he's doing bad, but he's
But that's his choice, isn't it? He chose to spend all his money to do this because he chose not to do certain things. Because I don't think he does as many fundraisers as what Kamala and oh shit, and Biden did. But still, so my bad.
you did it first.
I did. I
You
slipped.
lost the
I
game.
slipped.
You lost the name game.
God damn it.
Now I have a dog. Dog has come to
Give you to give you kisses, yeah.
yeah, go on, dog. Go on, go on, go on. Don't need you right now. Now we've had a cat and a dog on us on
Yeah, see, as I've said names, I can say names so I can talk about shit. So
yeah, you can say names because 'cause you're not over here. I mean, I
yeah,
can say names too, but
okay,
you can
just
definitely say them.
just protect your identity. Be like, no, you don't know who anybody is. You're blind to politics or something. I don't know. But
I
yeah,
wish I could be blind to politics, that
but
way
yeah,
it doesn't all go away.
even stuff like because like yes, Trump to a degree has his own money, right?
Mhm.
He got given a small loan of $1 million and he made it work for him, basically, or whatever bullshit
So
you
the
wish to,
story goes
or whatever bullshit you wish to believe.
yeah, so the I was gonna say, so the story goes.
Yep. And so so but then again, when you look at the Biden and Harris campaign, how much did people donate to that? Because they're not rich. I mean, they are well off, but they're not rich enough to fund a whole campaign to themselves. You must have some insane donations and donators going to them. So
Yeah, you're not wrong, and you would think that Trump would be able to easily get a lot of people behind him
yeah,
as far as support and money, fundraising,
mm,
because he's on the side that has all the fanatical Christians behind him.
yeah. That means that like he's got the mega churches behind him, which is like a very
That's
powerful
what
entity to have. So
yeah, even though, someone out there will go ahead and correct me on this, so I might as well just go ahead and say it before they do. Um, technically, churches over here aren't supposed to be directly involved in politics.
I mean, they're more indirectly involved. This way, I mean, I don't mean they're directly involved. I mean, like everything's indirectly. Every business that supports is indirectly involved. And
Yeah,
so
yeah, but you would think, though, that out of all that, though, he would have a lot of support from people like that because I don't care about what kind of backlash that we might get for this. I know you don't either, but the people that subscribe, that word, to any notions that these mega churches and stuff follow, especially when it's the ones that do this whole prosperity gospel bullshit to where it's all about money and that's all that there is to it is money. Like the more money you have, the more it shows that you're doing the right thing. These people are fairly gullible to where you could probably get them to do anything if they liked you well enough. Um, just because they buy into that. I
yeah,
mean,
I mean, if you this is going to sound so harsh the way that I'm going to say this, but I don't give a shit. Um, the more you believe in religion, in my opinion, the more gullible you have to be. Basically, like the more like the more devout you are, the more gullible you have to be. Because if you read any one of those religious texts that you believe, there is stuff in those books that is horrendous, man. There is like rape and torture and obliterations and like and if you believe
yeah, I mean,
and if you can believe a book that has that in it and believe that having money or that makes you a good person or it doesn't matter what it is, it shows how fucked up of a person you are, in my opinion. But still.
yeah. I mean, let's look at it this way. I did not know this until the other day, okay? Because
Mm.
I listened to a debate that included this information, so take that for what it's worth. But the 10 Commandments in the Bible are on one page, and the exact next page over from that, it's telling you how to own, buy, and deal with slaves.
Oh shit, that's crazy.
Literally one page away from each other.
That's insane. So love thy neighbor unless you own them, basically. Is that literally what they're saying? That's insanity, man.
Well, to love thy neighbor as as thyself, that was Jesus stuff that was well after the 10 Commandments.
Oh yeah, but oh yeah, I forgot what the actual Ten Commandments are. I assumed Jesus stuff was
Yeah,
a part of that, but
that's the not steal, not kill, covet thy neighbor, adultery, all those normal
oh
shit,
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
10 things we're not supposed to do. I'm not gonna go into all of them,
No,
but
you would know
but
more
yeah,
than me,
all the
Mister Southern guy.
yeah, well, I mean, I do. I mean, I l if I didn't know from just the upbringing I've had, I would know from the debates I listen to, so
Yeah, that's true.
either way, I would know.
Yep, that's
But
true.
because like I said, as much as I did know, I didn't know that was that close together in the Bible, so
No, I didn't realize either. That's crazy. The fact that that's in there, I didn't realize slavery was in what's in the Bible either. That's crazy.
oh, yeah, and it's put in there in a way to suggest that owning slaves is actually, permissible and allowed by God to do if you do it the way He says to do it, which
I'm surprised,
that
like, you know how you have this really devout, like Westboro Baptist Church type shit. I'm surprised they didn't try that shit. To be honest, considering how fucked up they actually are. It's no.
yeah. I mean, over here, I don't know if you're familiar with the concept of it, but when we had that problem over here, when it was a slavery issue over here, um, there was a thing called a slave's Bible. I don't know if you're familiar with the term or what it
No.
was, but what they did was they gave them basically a King James Bible, give or take, but they literally removed anything from the Bible that talked about freedom or salvations or anything like anything that would be considered moving out of being in bondage or slavery. That all that stuff was removed
Yeah,
from their Bible.
that's insane. But that's sacrilege to their own, but to their own religion, right? Technically.
I would imagine it should be because you're actually modifying the text.
Yeah,
I
that's what I mean.
mean, I know of a lot of religions that are out there in the world that if you was to sit there and alter the text of what they claim their book is, that it would be a very bad day for you if you were to do that and then try to pass that off as what the text actually is.
Yep. There
Um,
are quite a few
we're
religions
not gonna,
which are like that. No, not mentioning those ones because those ones are more. I don't want to say
yeah,
dangerous,
we're not
but
gonna.
yeah.
They are they're more devoted to their cause
Yeah.
than some of the ones we're talking
Yeah.
about now. But but yeah, I mean, so you would think that would be considered sacrilegious to offer people a modified version of a book, not. I mean, but there again, there's also treating people like like we did over here. I mean, that is its own can of worms to go into because we did not treat people in any capacity over here very well, except for our own selves, and that's
No, we
about the
didn't
extent
either.
of
To be
that.
fair, like as like nations, we all fucked up in some way. So
But there again, now we're not treating ourselves very well either.
no,
So
everything is going to shit. I imagine. Like, I don't know. It seems like the more with the moment the pandemic happened, like everything went to shit basically. Because obviously, when everything shut down, we're feeling the effects of that shutdown now. That's the inflation. That's the economic crisis we're in now. Because the economy had to suffer so much that it rebounded and everything inflated for the most part.
yeah,
So
you would have thought. Now, maybe I'm just too optimistic about the world. Obviously, I am because it's not what happened. But you would have thought that when the pandemic shit was going on, that we would have had a little bit of reflection time to see where we're at in the world now, as opposed to continuing down whatever path that we're going down. Maybe change some things.
like a
But
lot of us tried to go for that route, especially here, like like more like working from home stuff. Like they tried to keep that, but then people who owned office buildings, like, no, you need to come into work because I'm paying for this office building, and you need to be in here because I'm paying for this office building, and No, even just the basic
Yeah,
stuff like that negates people's freedoms a little bit more because if you can work from home, it negates the travel time, which makes the bus companies and people who own the petrol stations not get as much money because you're not traveling to work, and also all those shops which exist to give you lunch and stuff in the middle of the workday don't exist either because you don't need them anymore. And no, it's
yeah.
all like one big like circle of like things that go to shit for it. So
Mhm. And then they can't, uh, mitigate your break times
no,
or anything like that
yeah,
because if you're working from home, you're basically I could, be here sitting here doing work at home and then have YouTube up or something on another page or a game up on another page or whatever and just be, doing both things at once, and they wouldn't like that very
yeah,
much
I know, but
because even though you can do it and still stay just as productive as you could without it, realistically, they
yeah,
just
but they
don't
want to
want
make
you.
you miserable. So what can you do?
Yeah.
They live to make you miserable, and unfortunately,
That that is the sad part of the world that we're in, which
yeah,
that's not even the tip of the iceberg when it comes to that. We need to do an iceberg at some point
we probably do.
of something.
Yeah. To be fair though,
I don't know what it would be.
to be fair though, I worked out like the other week. I was like with my friends and we was talking about something similar to this topic. And it was like the best time for us to have bought a house or to have bought like property or invested would have been when we were both about 11 or 12 years old. Because that's when the last time the economy was good enough to be able to afford like property or something like that on a good level where it wouldn't break us.
Mhm.
So to put
I
into
mean,
like perspective of what the economy is actually like for people who grew up in the 90s or like late 80s, where it's bad now. For the people who are
yeah,
coming after us, they are in for it. It's like not going to be a good thing for them because we're struggling as it is, never mind, or not to mention the next generation and the generation after that.
yeah, which is the sad part to consider. I can say that based off what, me and you talked about what it costs to afford housing and stuff nowadays as opposed to what it was back in let's just go as far as say our individual grandparents at the time period
Yeah,
or parents, depending on how far back you really go. But I mean, I'm lucky right now that if I didn't have a lot of external stuff that needed to be paid out, um, it would take half of one of my biweekly checks to pay for this house.
that's awesome. That means you're
But that's not
basically
count.
settled. Right?
But that's not counting power or
Oh yeah.
any other utility
Mhm.
or anything else.
But even then, you probably are still not paying that much more for utilities plus food. I would imagine.
Our utilities here are stupid in terms of what they run.
Ah, that sucks. I
Like, when
don't.
it starts getting when they had it seems like they just raise the price on them as the temperature changes without us doing anything different in the house to make it do that.
That's interesting.
Like, when it gets cold here, our electric bill seems to increase by about $150 for some unknown reason
But it's
without any provocation.
well, I mean, the heating's like still heating the very cold air though, right? So technically, it's working harder in like a way, I guess.
No, I'm just saying if we didn't change anything with the climate control of the house or anything, I'm just saying if we did nothing different
Yeah,
in the summer or the winter, it would still be $100 more expensive in the winter than it is in the summer for some reason.
that's strange. So even if you kept it on, say you had it on, I don't know what a good American temperature. Say if you had it at like 22 degrees Celsius, and it was like you had that all year round because it was like the temperature of the house.
Let me verify.
I'm just using an
At
arbitrary
23.
number. You don't have to like. It's
Yeah.
not like a.
Well, well, for those that speak my language,
Yeah.
70, 75, sometimes 65 degrees Fahrenheit is
Mhm.
what people would consider comfortable in most cases, somewhere between 65 and 75. But I'm not one of those type of people normally. I am more comfortable in the hot and the more hotter temperatures because, I mean, cold gets through this very easily.
I can imagine. I mean, there isn't much
Is it?
like there isn't much fat on that body, so yeah, I can see it.
No, there's not. There's not a lot of that, and it's kind of fucked up that if it gets so cold outside, like, if it's down below freezing, I go to move my fingers after I've been outside for a little bit, and they literally it's like the ligaments are frozen inside of my damn fingers where I had to, uh, force it to close.
Yeah,
I
it's crazy.
don't like that type of
No,
stuff.
that sounds really bad to me. Sounds
It
like you need
hurts.
some meat on
Hurt
your bones. Sounds like you need something to keep you warm. You need some blubber.
yeah. Yeah, if I could ever accomplish that task, that'd be alright, but I don't eat enough for that, so
Yeah, I know. That's okay. Some people are blessed with like high metabolisms, man. So
I don't know if this is a blessing or not, just to be fair with you, because I can't even do anything to make myself at least more presentable as a human being. I'm just a
you
skeleton
just,
with skin on it, essentially.
I guess.
So
Mm.
and that's not a I don't wanna be that way. I mean, I'd rather not be overweight or nothing, but I'd like to be somewhere in the middle, I would think.
Yeah, me too. I have the opposite problem. My metabolism is too slow, so I can't even eat 2,000 calories at that point. Oh my man, like for me to be like eating my normal weight is about 1,600 calories, which is not much food.
No, not at all.
Mm. So it means that I just have a bit more extra to me, but I just use that to train with. So it just helps me build extra muscle. So it's whatever.
Yeah, because you have something you can use to turn into other shit. I don't have that.
Yeah, I mean there is one good
I won't
thing to like having a slower metabolism, but like you have to really watch what you eat with me. That's the only thing. Or just not give a
yeah.
fuck what you eat because I know I'm never going to achieve like a bodybuilder's physique with like with my genetics or the way my body is. It's never going to happen. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's just things you gotta be real with yourself with and shit. But yeah, we've talked shit for like an hour and a half. Well, we stayed on topic for like half an hour, and then like it turned into whatever this
Well,
is.
I mean, that sometimes that's the point. Sometimes that's the point. Because I will tell you, and I don't know, I've told you before, some people out there that I know at least has listened to this stuff prefer this type of format. Some people have preferred the more direct formats. So every now and then we just give people a fucking mixed bag to where they'll get one or the other, depending on what it is.
That's true. Because I mean, the
Um,
people who want topics will think it's a straight topic, and then it'll descend into insanity, and they'll be like, for fuck's sake, man.
well,
Which is going to be great. I think I like those ones the best just because people expect a certain thing and then it just goes in the complete opposite direction to what they wanted to.
yeah. And then they keep listening to figure out when are we going to go back?
Nope. He didn't even think about it.
You,
We
you,
just.
you, you fell into the
I did.
trap.
Yeah, that's the
You
thing.
have to sit here and listen. But long story short, though, that's just before we end this up, let's round back around to the beginning of this topic a little bit to where we can close with what we opened with.
Sure.
Do you feel that it's in any way insincere or disingenuous for people to do the overreacting to anything like that?
It's the most insincere thing you can do because you're lying to your audience, you're lying to yourself, you are prioritizing money and your own self worth over other people. In that way, because if you say to your community, I fucking love Nightwish, but in your head you are like, this is okay, I don't like this, but you say, oh my god, I love this, because you know that community is going to back you when you say it. That to me, that feels like it's like you going into McDonald's asking for a hamburger and they give you chicken nuggets. You know what I mean? It's exactly that thing.
Yeah, yeah, I understand what you're saying. I agree with the sentiment that it's disingenuous and it's a bullshit thing to do to an audience because one, you're conning people, and I don't like the concept of conning people. I
Yeah,
mean, you might not it might be the wrong word, it might be too harsh of a word to use for it, but in the end, it's still in the same category. You're telling people something that's not true to get something out of them.
yeah. Because say if there's this person in your chat who really enjoys this band and they support you because they think you are the same way, and then it turns out that you don't like them as much as they think you did, and they paid you, say for a year on Patreon to get you to do certain reactions to like a certain band, and it turns out that you did it just because they were paying you to do it, and not because you actually enjoyed it. Wouldn't that make you feel like shit? Like if your favorite band was just a tool for somebody to make money.
Yeah, I wouldn't like I mean, as for example, if I was doing what you was doing before I met up with you and me and you were both doing that, let's just look at that from that perspective. If I was established up to comparable degree to what you let's say if we were about even with what we had going,
Yeah,
I would not like it if people wanted me to particularly use and you'll have a funny thing I'm sure to say about this. I wouldn't like to use King Diamond or, Wednesday 13 or the bands that I listen to make money off of them that way, just because people wanna hear what I have to say about it, because they might agree with the fact that I like the group, because I don't think it does the group a justice just to do that myself. I mean, I don't know if that's the right if I'm making the right point with that or not to you, but it just feels like I'm doing betraying the group in a way just to use them for money as well.
yeah.
Uh,
Because I mean, like with me, as you were talking about earlier, but like, why do I go against the grain? Why do I do things that are against my own self-interest? If like, for want of a better term of it, because technically
yeah.
everything that I do in my channel is opposite to what I should be doing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like I don't pander to bands, I don't pander to people. I kick people out of my stream if they say the wrong things. I like, I literally have my own self integrity to a degree where I'm happy with how things are going. And you've seen my streams and the people who are there. They're very like minded,
Yeah.
they're very self independent, they are honest, they are really nice, caring people. People who you'd want to be
I
around.
haven't I haven't seen any of the purges yet, though. I'm sure I will maybe one day.
Maybe. It depends, because they generally don't stay in my stream long enough because like I'll hate something and they'll leave instantly. It happens all the time.
Uh,
I think
that
you've seen one
makes
of
sense
those
why
already, so yeah. I think you've seen one
I've
of
seen
those or
someone
two.
complain about your opinion. I know that.
Oh yeah, but that happens all the time. It doesn't matter. I don't care about if people can't take an opinion, man. Those people are not worth having in your lives or in your
Right.
life, shouldn't I say? So
Yeah, I mean, opinions mean nothing in the long run. It's, uh, like, for example, you could probably have a few colorful opinions about me that you wouldn't probably want me to know specifically, and likewise vice versa, but they're
I know,
opinions, so they don't fucking
I
matter.
know, I know. I'm honest. Like if I had a bad opinion or negative opinion about somebody, I would just tell them because why would you lie to somebody? That's like it doesn't make sense.
For me, it's more of a thing of you didn't ask.
I know what you mean. I mean, like for me, like I don't like lying to people. Say if somebody does annoys me, I wouldn't keep that to myself. Or be like, why are you such an asshole? Why do you keep doing this? Or why are you like what I mean? Maybe that's just me being
Mm.
too honest, but I don't know. It's how I am now.
No, I mean, there ain't nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all, I don't think, personally.
I think like the way that I've always said it, I treat people how they treat me. That's like how I've always established my life since I can remember it. And I've not always lived up to that. I've let people walk over me for a period of my life and a period of time, and I've gone through the shit that comes with that as well. With the bad stuff. And the moment that I stopped that, the moment that I started keeping things to my integrity, to how I think and how I perceive the world, things started to go better for me. So I don't know. It depends.
That's because you're not living with that, burdening of just continuing to just deal with it. You're giving it back the way that it's given to you in most cases, depending on what it is and who it is.
Pretty much. If it's some random on the internet, I don't care. I would just chat and see. And if they're too much of like where they're trying too hard or they're like getting too emotionally involved, I'm just like, you know what, this is not worth my time, nor is it worth my mental health for anything they might say back. And that's not even including the like death threats and all the other shit that comes with music reacting, which we didn't go into. But because there's people who get
No,
so worked up over that shit that they give crazy things and they think crazy things, and I don't know.
yeah, and
But
I
there
think
is a,
the
but there
inter
is a great story. Hold on, before you do. Like so, like when I did one of the Unleash the Archers reactions, a dude gave me a death threat and I didn't delete it. And then the band literally came onto my video and told him to stop doing it. So his favorite band told him to shut the fuck up, which is one of my favorite things that's happened in like a long time. Anyways,
did he respond to that?
he deleted his comment. So, and he tried to give he tried to put on a different comment on the video to say, "I'm sorry that is blah 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 blah." So I posted in the original, in my comment, and I linked to
Mhm.
his comment, obviously original comment that I saved, and then I was like, nope, this is what I said. So it's saved there forever, just to like be a dick about it. But still, anyways, Actually,
Yeah, that does sound good there.
yeah,
That's a good one right there to have the
mhm,
group come in and actually say, "Hey, you're being a dick, and that's not what we want to be representing us to other people."
exactly, yeah. So
Which that gives I mean, even if it was a bad reaction
yeah,
to
it was.
something they did, or that even says a lot more about them if they came in and
Yep.
left you entitled to your opinion, but then
Hmm.
called off the dogs, so to speak.
Yep.
Um, but,
As you were saying, sir, I didn't mean to interrupt.
I don't think I really had anything really good that I was gonna say, I think, to be fair,
Fair days. So yeah,
because that was a better story than what I would have probably come up with. That was a pretty good one
yeah.
to
So,
throw in there.
mhm. It is a very good one when it happens. Like you can't make shit up sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes, like it shows that no matter how much of a fanboy you think you are, the band don't actually want you to do half the things that you do. That's proof of that right there. So
No, because some people say any publicity is good publicity, but that's not always the case.
I,
I
I'm
mean,
I'm one of those people. I say any publicity is good publicity, just because of what I do. So
mm,
in terms of
but if you're
reactions, dislikes are likes anyway. So
yeah, but when it comes to the group though, the
oh yeah,
band,
as a band, it's
it,
different.
it's
Yeah,
not yeah, it's not good for them to have negative publicity if they want to
yeah,
grow an audience normally. I mean it can work. I mean it worked for Marilyn Manson for years because he was a controversial person and that's what his whole stick
that's true.
was just being as outlandish and controversial as humanly possible without
Hmm.
and sometimes breaking the law.
Yeah,
Uh,
just like that rumor of him taking out his ribcage or some shit. That shit's hilarious to me. That
yeah,
rumor
that's a
is
good
fucking hilarious. Anyways,
that's a good one. That is a
yeah.
good one.
Hmm. It's a good way to get his whole gimmick there because everyone's like, is it like, even when I was in school, man, people would like, because I was getting more metalheady looking, they were like, is it true Marilyn Manson did this? And I was like, I don't know, but you sound pretty gay for thinking so, but whichever way you want to go about it. Just to kind of like go against it. And before anybody says
Yeah,
it, I'm a pansexual guy, so shut the fuck up. Anyways,
I just want people to think about just how I mean, let's just look at it from what it's worth here. If he had done that type of thing, that wouldn't really change too awful much
nope,
because he only said he took a handful of ribs out. That's all he said.
yep.
That I don't even know if that would do much in that situation.
I'm pretty sure you can train yourself to be that flexible even without taking your ribs out. I'm
Oh,
pretty
you
sure you can.
can. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying, that I don't know that removing ribs would have, magically allowed for that to be able to be a thing,
No, I imagine
'cause
it
it
just takes a lot of training because I know you can stretch to get it. So
but, um, so, the fact people fell for that is just comical all the
yes,
way around,
yes, hilarious.
but we're starting to drag on now,
We're always
so
starting
if,
to drag on. It's what we do. We just talk.
we drag on.
That's a whole different topic if you want to get your drag on. But anyways, we're gonna
What the
end.
fuck, dude? We're not talking about dragons.
Not even dragons. I'm talking about putting your drag on. But still, anyways, I've been Makai. That has been Kai. We'll see you guys in the
Yeah.
next episode. I don't know what the fuck it's gonna be. It might be. It
We
might be something to do with wrestling. It might not be something to do with wrestling. I have no idea. But still,
we will figure that out.
you will.
It might be more bullshit. Who fucking knows?
I kind of like the more bullshit. To be fair, it's more fun just to chat.
I do too because we can get into some kind of comical stuff here. We have more fun with it.
Yeah,
Because when we try to be too serious, it's just we think too hard when we're too serious.
I'm not. I'm not good at being too serious.
I
I mean,
I
like,
ain't either.
I'm like a more reactionary person. Obviously, it's what I fucking do. So,
I just want to say shit on a show
makes
for a
sense.
while,
I know
every now and then.
that's what we do. So, we say shit on shows. That's like our whole
Yeah.
gimmick right now. Anyways, see you guys later. Thank you for watching.
Later, guys.